Hello, this is another car boot find of mine. This is an old Yamaha RX11 drum machine. The useful things about these is that it's got all these separate outputs. So, I don't know, if it works it might be useful. But this has 39 voices and you can make 100 patterns on there and condense those into 10 songs with up to 255 parts per song. Anyway, when I got this, it was quite wet and there was sort of moisture in here. This is a cartridge socket, but I don't know if there's any cartridges available for it. However, I'm not going to plug it in yet because it was wet. I've kept it for a couple of weeks to try and dry it out. And I'm going to open it up and just have a check around the board and things, make sure it's absolutely dry, and then I'll plug it in. And if it blows up, it blows up. The lid's nice and loose now. Just check the cables. Yeah, cables just come to the front so that can flip over. And there's the inside of the RX11. Right, I've got my little pointy stick here because people have complained to me about jabbing things with a metal screwdriver. So let's have a look. I think it's dry now, or safe enough to at least plug into the mains. I'll risk that, I think. Yeah, there's a backup battery here. It's a CR2032. I mean, if that's been in there since 1984, then it'll definitely need changing. But this might be a changed one because it's sort of wonky. It's not sitting where, you know, it's not sitting perfectly. So someone's probably changed that in the past anyway. Okay, looking around, we've got Toshiba chips, Hitachi chips, Mitsubishi, Texas Instruments. I don't see any Yamaha chips. There's some more chips underneath here, underneath this board, so I'll lift that board up actually and have a look underneath there. But these are your ROMs, the Toshiba Roms, RX11 version 1. And they are TMM 27128Ds, which means they're 128K EPROMs. Yeah. And your Hitachi chip here, for those of you who want to know, is a HD6303, and that's an 8-bit CMOS microprocessing unit thing. Okay, I'll get this board off here because there's got to be some Yamaha chips in this thing. Oh, yeah, they're easy enough to do. Nice flat screwdriver, and you can just flick these things out. So, right, let's have a look, because there's got to be some Yamaha chips in here. And there we go, there's the Yamaha chips. Right, what have we here? That is a Yamaha YM2154. Now that's the Yamaha's own rhythm processor. I think it's got 12 samples and 10 channel analog to digital converter on there. I'm sure I've seen these in the old Portatones, the PSR 60s and 70s and 80s and things. This is a YM3010. Not too sure what that is. I think it's probably a DA converter. But these are interesting. Now, I've seen these a few times. YM2190. Now, they've all got the same number. However, there's an extra number on the end, which is 7, 5, 6, 1, 2 and 3. Now what these are 32 kilobyte drum and percussion waveform ROMs. So number 7, for instance, that'll be 2 snares, a rim shot, a shaker and 3 toms. And number 1 on the end will be a ride cymbal. Number 2 on the end will be a crash cymbal. Number 5 is snare drums. I think there's a tom on there as well. And 6 and 3 are both hi-hats, cowbells and claps. I think there's 2 alternative versions in there. But that's basically your your sort of ROM waveforms in those chips there. Anyway, blah blah blah, rabbit rabbit rabbit. Let's actually power this thing up and see if it works. Here goes. Where's the power switch? Aha! Select pattern. Right. Let me get some jacks into this. Okay. Let's see what this thing does. I've set it up to some speakers. Oh, well, the buttons. Oh, that's nice. Okay, the buttons are working, but they seem to be bouncing. So you press and let go, and sometimes it's activating twice. That's going 2 or 3 times. Yeah, okay, might clean up underneath there. Take this button panel apart, because you know, if you're playing the drums on here, you don't want it sounding 2 or 3 times. Anyway, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with this machine, so I'm just going to press start, and nothing happens. Okay. Is it pattern? Select pattern. Select pattern what? 1. Oh. Oh, that is cool. Right. Like I say, let's turn down a bit. Oh. The volume seems to be the same wherever you put it. There's no difference in volume there at all. Unless you go right down and then it switches it off. Right, okay, so we need a bit of a clean up down here. It's going from 0 to full in that little bit of right. Yeah, well, it's making a noise. It sounds as cheesy as hell, but yeah, I think I need to just take this unit apart and pull the buttons out and give them a clean up, and clean up these sliders and things as well, because these are not activating too well, and that volume is 0 to full. Okay, right, switch off. Well, I'm pleased it's making a noise anyway. Back to dismantling this top piece. Let's get back inside it. There's lots of dirt in there. Years worth of crap. I've cleaned all the buttons in some nice warm soapy water and given them a blow with a hairdryer, not on hot because that can deform the plastic switches, but they've come up reasonably well, much better than they looked anyway. Now I've got to clean up this. This has got all dust and crap with a little brush here. If I just go like so, look. That's the rubbish that's on this board, and we don't want that floating around after we've cleaned all these switches up. So, clean up time. Inside each of these switches, if I push down a switch, you'll see this actually move along and make contact there. So if I push that down, that's how the contact is made. Now, I've just had a look down the gaps of some of these, and there's fluff and crap down there, and that is what's making it do what's known as switch bounce, where it's connecting, disconnecting. It's because there's a piece of crap in the way, and sometimes it just causes a switch bounce, and that activates the drum sound 2 or 3 times when you press that down. The easy way that I've found of cleaning these is if you just get a strip of cord and cut lots of these little pieces off, and I dip it in isopropyl alcohol and I put it in between, press the switch down, and then gradually just pull it up, and that pulls some of the crap from between the contacts there. Now this is the backup battery here. It's a 3-volt lithium battery, and it looks suspiciously like that's been changed at some time. It doesn't look like it's the original. From 1985, I mean, that would be completely dead by now. That's quite an important battery. It holds all your work, all your rhythms and all the bits and pieces that you've done to it. So without that, you would have to keep on firing it back up and programming it every time you wanted to use it. So that's okay. That's the 3.1 volts. That's fine. As I suspected, that's been changed by somebody not that long ago. And that lasts 5 years easily. There you go. I've put it all back together and it's all nice and clean and shiny in there. And before I screw it all back together, of course, we've got to test it. So put those in, power up. There you go. They're all working now, and there's no bounce on there because I've cleaned up all the contacts of the switches. So you press them once and it just plays the sound once instead of 2 or 3 times. Now, I haven't got a clue what I'm doing with this. So if it says select pattern. So is it playing it? What are you doing? I don't know. Ah, here we go. And I have some bit of volume control back now. And the tempo works okay. Data entry, haven't got a clue what that's supposed to be doing. How do I get into song mode? Ah, song. Okay. Let's see what this does. That is just a horrible song. Okay. Right. I haven't got a clue what the cartridge slot is for. Maybe you could buy a memory module to memorize things. You can plug this into a cassette player and you know, download and save onto a cassette your rhythms and patterns and things, or out through the MIDI, or maybe you could do it through this cartridge as well, or maybe the cartridge had different drum sounds on. I don't really know. Anyway, I'm going to screw this all back together now and give it one final little clean up, and then stick it under the desk for 50 years or so until it's worth something. Thank you very much for watching. I hope there's something useful in that video for you, and please give us a thumbs up if you like this, and I'll get on to the next project. All the best. No, that's not the one to lead out, is it? Let me try this. There you go.